So this video is going to be a quick tutorial how you can replace all your light seals in your Mamiya M645 camera, as well as I'm addressing some issues with the mirror and also the shutter curtain. In terms of mirror, if you have issues with the mirror stacking up or the mirror going up and dropping immediately back down again, even if you have some long exposures or bulb mode, I have some solutions for you as well. Regarding this camera that I have right here, it had some issues that I mentioned right now. I had some pinholes in my shutter curtain that I was able to fix. You're gonna see it later in the video. I also had the problem where when I was taking a picture, even with a long exposure like 1 second or even bulb mode, the mirror slapped up and got immediately back down, and I got the solution for this as well. Also, if your mirror currently is stacking up after every single shot, it could be the solution for you as well. It regards the mirror bumpers that you just have to replace into new ones, and we're gonna see in the video how we're going to be able to do this as well. After changing the mirror bumpers, the mirror problems should be solved. If it's not solved, then it's something mechanical or electronical in your camera, but it's worth a shot. It worked for me like a charm. And if you're having problems with your shutter curtain having pinholes, you're getting pinhole light leaks, we're gonna have the solution for this in this video as well. And just in general, if you're just planning to do a complete new light seal job for your Mamiya M645, I'm going to have that covered as well. So stay tuned for this video. I'm going to put timestamps on the timeline so you can just click through whatever issue you want to see the solution for. So just enjoy this video. I hope I can provide some help for you out there that are struggling with their Mamiya camera. I think I have some solutions for you. So we're gonna need an air blower, some tweezers. It's important that the tweezers have some angle to it. It's just gonna be way easier like that. As well as some self-adhesive foam for some new light seals. And make sure that you're gonna have a 1mm and 2mm option. This right here is so-called liquid electrical tape, which we're gonna use for the pinholes in the shutter curtain. Of course, we're gonna need some scissors, some Q-tips, and some cleaning alcohol, as well as some black yarn. It can be cotton or polyester. This is optional, but I highly recommend using it. It's gonna make our lives a whole lot easier later, and I'm gonna explain that when we get to that part. So the first thing we're gonna do is open up the back of the camera and take out the film holder. You can see all the gunk that's been developing in there, and we don't want the film holder to get messy, so keep him away from all of this. And basically what we're gonna have to do for the whole light seals, we clean up the old goo with alcohol and tweezers and then replace them with some fresh ones. We start by removing the film door. You just press this button and lift it up. And just like that, we have the film door separated from the camera, and we can work a lot easier on it. As you can see, we also need to clean all of that gunk and replace it with some fresh seals. So the procedure is always going to be the same. It starts by taking your tweezers and taking all that goo out for some rough cleanup at first, and then later we're gonna take some Q-tips and cleaning alcohol and get off everything remaining of the adhesives and all that other gunk. Sometimes you can even pull off the entire old adhesive at once. It makes the job a whole lot easier, but it depends on the condition of your light seals. And if you're finished with that, you're gonna end up with a pile of gunk like this. And now it's time to take out the alcohol. You just get something in a container and dip your Q-tip in, and then just work your way around all the edges where still some remaining adhesives or gunk is left. Depending on how old and dried up the old light seals are, it can be helpful to let it soak in alcohol for a few minutes before you start cleaning it. And there you can see how effective the alcohol works to clean everything out. And then you're just going to repeat this process for every side, and if you finish with that, we are good to go to add the new adhesives. This part of the old light seal was pretty dried up, and that's what I was mentioning before. Let it soak in alcohol first, and then you can remove it pretty easily. And just like that, it's all clean and shiny looking again. Perfectly prepared to add the new light seals. And then you're just gonna use a sharp knife and cut up some stripes so you have some new light seals. For the new light seals for the film door, I used 1mm thick foam. And then it's all about finding the right length. You can just hold the stripes onto the film door and then later applying it with the self-adhesive layer of the foam. So at this part the tweezers coming in handy again. That's why I also recommended the angled tweezers, so you can just grab the stripes like that and then you have it a lot easier to apply them correctly. Sometimes it can be even easier to use your hands. Just lift up one part of the stripe and press down with your other hand, and by that you can, depending on what part you're working on the camera, get the job done even faster than with the tweezers. So just like before with the cleaning, you're just gonna repeat this part for every other side of the film door. Sometimes it's a bit tricky, but if you have the right tools and the patience, you're gonna be successful. Be careful at this part right here. You have this metal ledge hanging over the adhesive part, so make sure you put the adhesive underneath this metal ledge, otherwise the locking mechanism of the door won't work properly. And just to make sure that everything is nice and light tight, I use these small patches and put it in each of the corner of the film door. And there we have it, the whole film door is complete now. Get yourself a tap on the shoulder, you did a great job so far. I realized I have these strange looking stains on the back of my film door. I really don't want to know what exactly that stain is. I just know I wanted to get it off, and you can just use the old Q-tip and alcohol solution. Now this part is important if you work on the body of the camera. Close off the shutter curtain by using a tape that's not too adhesive but stays on safely. It's important to do this so no gluey gunk will get in the curtain or in the mechanics of the camera and will ruin basically the whole camera. So really make sure that you gonna close it off properly. And then you're gonna see me here just cleaning it out once again. It has a bit more depth to it, so I cut off one end of a Q-tip and it was the perfect side to scrape all the alcohol in there and clean once again all the old light seals out. I also used some fold up tissue and dipped it into alcohol, used the tweezers, and just find your own workarounds. Depending on the condition of the light seals, you need to get more or less creative. Now here comes the part that I mentioned earlier. You can use the yarn instead of the cut up stripes of the self-adhesive foam to get really nice and easy light seals that will also last forever, and the process is just way easier, and it works on the body because you have this depth to it. You just push it in, you don't need to glue it in or anything. Cut up the part at the metal edge and put another part on the at the beginning of the ledge, so you're good to go. You see how fast this was. I think it was around 1 minute and you have the whole light seals done. Now one last cleaning and adding new light seals again, and then we're good to go with the whole back of the body. At this part I cut 5mm stripes with 1mm thickness, and it worked perfectly. Now get yourself another big pat on the shoulders. We officially halfway done with the light seal job. Now before removing the tape that protected the shutter curtains and the inside of the camera, give it a good blow out with the rocket blower. And because my example of the Mamiya was really dusty inside the camera too, I decided to clean it up with some alcohol and Q-tips too, to get also rid of the weird smoky smell that my example had. But after cleaning it thoroughly, the smell was gone too. So if your camera is a bit stinky like mine, I recommend not skipping this part. And now it's time for some satisfying ASMR tape peel off. Just so nice and satisfying. Wow. Oh no. And I messed it up. And here you can see how effectively the tape was working. See the black edges around the tape. It prevented the goo to get onto the curtain. Very nice. And then it's just the time to put the film door back on. It's the same like removing it, just vice versa. First align the dots and then push it in. Now if you got to this point, you can be really proud of yourself. You did a great job here. Now we're coming to the more tricky part, which is replacing the mirror bumpers in the mirror box. And I already did this part off camera, but regardless, I'm going to show you how to get easy access to the old mirror bumpers, removing them and then putting the new ones on. So you're gonna start with removing the viewfinder. You're gonna just twist and push, and then you can lift up, which will reveal the focusing screen that you can just lift up at one side. Be careful with this one, you don't want to scratch it, put it someplace safe. Then you use a screwdriver and remove these 3 screws that I'm tapping on right here. And then you can lift up this whole metal thing, which will reveal the old gooey mirror bumpers. It will just simply snap out. Make sure to put pressure like I did in the middle of this metal thing so you don't bend it or anything. You just get this part out, and underneath there will be your gooey old bumpers. You can use this metal piece to cut up the right lengths for your new stripes. Make sure you use the 2mm variant this time, because the mirror needs a bit more of a cushion. Now if you finish with cleaning out and putting the new ones in, you can put on the metal thing again. Just vice versa again, put it in, press it down, use force here at this point right there, it will snap right back in, and then put on the 3 screws again and you're good to go. Now it's time to put the focusing screen back in again. Make sure to be careful with this. Once again, just push down, nice and simple, and it's all built back together. Now there's one last seals we need to fix. It doesn't have to do anything with light tightness, but as you can see here, it's pretty wobbly. And if you're wondering if your viewfinder is broken or anything, no, it's basically just too much play in between the camera and the viewfinder. You just remove these parts, put new ones in like I did here, use the 2mm version, put the viewfinder back on, and now it's nice and sturdy and feels as premium as new. Now to see if you have problems with pinholes in your shutter curtain, you're gonna lock up the mirror, put a bright light source underneath, and then turn off the light in your room. As you can see, I have some pinholes, and that's why we're gonna have to fix this as well, so you don't have these weird looking pinhole light leaks onto your expensive film. Now, if you carefully place the liquid electrical tape onto your shutter curtain, I would recommend letting it dry out for at least 24 hours to be sure. And if you were successful like I was here, the light test will result in no pinholes showing through the shutter curtain. Also make sure that you're gonna have two sides of a curtain, so if you wind the camera, take the shutter, you have two sides basically, so make sure both sides are light tight. In my case, I just had one side that wasn't light tight and had these pinholes, which I could fix now with the electric liquid tape.